Rad Hazard. Once again, you have to up the ante. It wasn't enough that FX whipped your ass at Westfest, took the BBW World title. It wasn't enough that you gave Rhea Calloway a second chance, the one who even started this radical movement. The reason why the radical movement's even happening right now, because Rhea Calloway broke your little heart. You give her a second chance, and what does she do? The one thing that she was gonna do the whole time, Rad, take you down and take you out. Why? Because Rhea Calloway is backyard wrestling as well. Just like FX is backyard wrestling. It's like a lot of people on the backyard wrestling movement side are against you. But you want to stand up and give out phase 2. You're not going to destroy backyard wrestling anymore. You're not making the offers anymore, the bounties to have people drop belts or discontinue belts or make promotions shut down. Now you're wanting the radical movement to take over backyard wrestling. Now you're wanting it all for yourself. Being the chairman of BBW, that isn't enough for you? Now you got to control the whole conglomerate? Rad Hazard, you're about as worse as I am. Yes, back in the day, I was very power hungry in AWF. Check the history books, pal. AWF 365 will show that. All you got to do is look at Fight for Power at Pain and Pleasure 2002. Sorry about that. Anytime Rad Hazard spoken from my mouth, I get a bad taste and I start to choke. Point being, Rad, being the general, I know exactly where you're coming from. So it's not hard for me to side with you on it, but at the same time, it's definitely not hard for me to find ways around you, to counter you. Rad, you are dealing with one of the greatest minds in backyard wrestling today. The legend himself, Chris Dickens. I'm more bright when it comes to the wrestling industry than Vince McMahon, Paul Heyman, and Eric Bischoff's illegitimate bastard child would be. This is the message out I'm sending to you, Rad. You go ahead, you send your radical movement. Take over backyard wrestling. You shut down, what did you say? Was it BWE, I think it was? Was that the one? Oh, AWS. Now my brain's worried. AWS. AWS. You said was done. You going for GWC? I'm sorry, but those guys will probably wipe the floor with you, Rad. Just like if you ever stepped foot in Augusta, Georgia, and you stepped in an AWF ring, I would wipe the floor with you. Your head would become my mop. I'd be cleaning up the blood that I spilt from your radical movement. But I only got one thing left to say. Is that coming up, I gotta face your new radical movement members for the BBW 6-man Tag Team Championships. The belts that were wrongfully taken by one primetime Tim Sanders. And then he has Survivor of Pain and Night Stalker join the radical movement. So now me, my partner Justin Chambers, and my former ally Fury have to go in and take what's rightfully ours. And I'm going to make a promise to you, Rad. When it's all said and done and the smoke clears and the dust settles, as the backyard wrestling community watches on, there's going to be the biggest surprise. And it's going to be aimed at you. It's going to be aimed at the backyard wrestling movement. And it's going to be aimed at anybody else who's been drugged into this war. Any other group, any other factions that have been dragged into this. I'm going to make history, Rad Hazard. All I got to say is just watch. Because you're going to be in for the shock of your life. And I'm done.